I'm Mike Sargent, and this is Arise on Screen.
All your money in the bag.
Do you know what you're doing? Do you know whose money you're jacking?
Fill the bag!
The new crime thriller, The Drop, stars Tom Hardy, Noomi Rapace, and James Gandolfini in his final role as a manager for a Brooklyn bar used as a money drop for the mob. A robbery gone wrong threatens to destroy everyone and everything he loves. In drug war-torn Colombia, kidnappings are a way of life. In La Playa, D.C., a teenager searches the mean streets looking for his younger brother who's vanished. Along the way, he finds himself. Will the two brothers eventually reunite?
Miss, just a cup of joe with the boy. What would it hurt?
Emmy Award-winning actor, producer, and director Joe Pantoliano, also known as Joey Pants, stops by to talk about his career and his new film, The Identical. All this and more on Arise on Screen. Hello, I'm Mike Sargent, and welcome to Arise on Screen, your global home for films both on screen and behind the scenes. So let's get to it. First with this week's box office winners. Guardians of the Galaxy tops the box office this week, followed by Let's Be Cops, The November Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and The 100-Foot Journey rounds it out in the number 5 spot. And in movie news,
there's been speculation that I'm parading around as a superhero. I'm just not the hero type. Clearly.
Could it be the end of the line for Iron Man? Actor Robert Downey Jr., who originated the role, broke news at the Toronto Film Festival when he revealed there are no plans for an Iron Man 4.
Did that just happen?
Downey was busy promoting his latest film, The Judge, at the festival, leaving fans to wonder, could anyone else play the iconic billionaire Tony Stark, the superhero in the red iron suit?
It doesn't bother you killing those people?
Well, I wouldn't be very good at my job if it did.
Daniel Craig is the first blonde James Bond. Now, imagine Denzel Washington as the first black Bond, James Bond.
16 seconds.
The star of The Equalizer, in theaters later this month, is almost 60 and said recently he would be up for playing Bond if Hollywood made the movie sooner than later. Twitter went crazy with support for the idea by creating the hashtag Denzel is James Bond. Daniel or Denzel as 007, you decide. There's already buzz about Muna Otaru, who stars as a family slave in the Civil War drama, The Keeping Room. Otaru's character works alongside her owners to defend the family home. In this first look clip, we see what critics are buzzing about as tempers flare between two of the three women. And finally, the short film Papa Machete introduced Toronto Film Fest goers to the martial art of machete, created by Haitian slaves to defend Napoleon's armies. Haitian farmer Alfred Avril, one of the last remaining masters of the indigenous machete fencing, shows us the practical and spiritual value of the machete, used both as a weapon and an important tool for a farmer's survival. And in festival news, the Urban World Film Festival, the largest internationally competitive festival of its kind, is about to begin and runs from September 17th through the 21st here in New York City.
Everybody says I'm special because I have this voice.
All the tears you're gonna cry.
But I'm just saying what everybody else wants me to say.
'Cause your mama's name was Lonely.
Can you look at me for a second?
'Cause you never loved.
No, wait! Hey, look at me! I see you. I see you.
The opening night film Beyond the Lights features Belle actress Gugu Mbatha-Raw in a more contemporary role as a music superstar struggling with her fame. Over the last 18 years, Hollywood studios and indie film distributors have chosen Urban World to premiere box office and award-winning hits. Today, I'm joined by film critics Bobby Rivers and Rakia Mays. Welcome, both of you. Bobby, this is so good. So before we get to the movies, we're going to talk about, unfortunately, the passing of Richard Kiel, who played one of the most lovable James Bond villains, Jaws, in 2 Bond movies. And so I have to ask you both, who are your most memorable Bond villains? I'll go to you first, Rakia.
Well, you know, we were talking about this earlier. I like Goldfinger, you know.
Hello?
What? I don't know about Goldfinger. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. To you, he's the best. Why?
Well, he was my favorite.
Okay.
I really loved Goldfinger. An Odd Job with the hat.
It's a classic. We'll go
That
first.
was serious.
Probably my favorite Bond movie, but I have to say my favorite Bond villain is Yaphet Kotto as Kananga / Mr. Big in Live and Let Die.
He was serious.
He was great. I loved it because he was, you know, he was a black guy beating up Bond, you know,
right?
Just, you know,
and doing it.
And it was the 70s, so blaxploitation films, and that was when I was a kid. I think that was the first Bond movie I ever saw in the theater.
Wow.
Really?
So yeah, because you know I was too young for the Connery ones, but I loved it. So and you know I have to say, yeah, thank you. Well, I was an infant. I remember, you know, so, but I really liked the fact that they're talking about having Chiwetel Ejiofor be in the new Bond movie as a villain.
Right. We had Javier Bardem was the previous villain. Chiwetel.
So he's only going to be the second black Bond villain. And speaking of Bond villains, speaking of black villains, I can't wait to talk about Idris Elba.
Oh, yes.
We're going to talk about when we get back. We're going to talk more movies here on Arise on Screen. Coming up.
When I walked into a place people sat up straight, they noticed. I was respected. I was feared.
From the author of Mystic River and Gone Baby Gone comes a tale of loyalty, friendship, Brooklyn gangsters, and a robbery gone very wrong. Tom Hardy, James Gandolfini in his final role, star in The Drop. Next, here on Arise on Screen.
You just hide the entire city's dirty money right in plain sight.